Atu and Akwaba. Welcome back to the channel. It's your man, King Anan. And as you know, on this channel, I create content about moving to Ghana, living in Ghana, and possibly if you want to visit Ghana one day, you can do that by watching this content. So my mission is to create different avenues for the African American community to get plugged into Ghana and as an extension, Africa. So on today's video, the beautiful lady that you see next to me is her name is Sade, and she's been a friend of mine through social media for quite a while. We first linked up because we were in online marketing business together. We were in the same company, so that's how we got to know each other. She's a great person, and recently I saw that she had been in Africa. As a matter of fact, probably a couple of times, and I just wanted her to come onto the channel and talk to us about why she visited Africa. So I'm going to go ahead and give the mic to Sade. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, the viewers, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Sade. I am from Brooklyn, New York originally, but I'm living in Covington, Georgia. I am a mom. I am a hairstylist. I'm a salon owner, also a spiritual person, and all of that jazz, and a brand new travel enthusiast as well. So, but that's me.
Awesome, awesome. So you decided to go to Africa, right?
Yes.
What led you there? What made you decide to take the plunge, go all the way from here, from Brooklyn, New York, by the way of Covington, Georgia, all the way to Africa? What made you want to visit Africa?
I mean, I always wanted to visit Africa my whole life. I feel like I came out the womb wanting to go to Africa for some reason. Like I just was into Afrocentric everything since I was little. Unfortunately, I used to lie when I was like 9 years old to people and tell them that I was an African princess.
Whoa.
And they believe me. I don't know what that was about, but I used to, I was just very much into the clothing and everything. And I always said that I always wanted to visit, especially as an adult. And, life happens, years go by, and things don't happen the way that you want it to go. But eventually, once I was in the right mind space, I was just like, you know what? Let me do it. And I did it. And I'm so happy I did.
Awesome, awesome. So, audience viewers, keep watching because there's another reason I think that she's going to reveal later on that actually took her to Africa. I think that's actually more important than what she's telling right now. So just keep watching this video.
Oh God.
So Sade, you went to Africa, right? What's the first place that you visited, and what was your first impression just being there as an African American? You've come home to the motherland. What was your first impression?
Whew. I went to Kenya first. So I was in Nairobi. And first impression, I was like, I'm in Africa. I'm here. I was like excited, like a lifelong dream bucket list thing had been achieved. So I just was like, I'm here. So I'm used to being in the airport. And then, when you get off the plane, you're kind of going through the gate and everything. But I got off the plane, like down the steps and everything. And it was hot immediately. And I was just like, oh gosh. And I was like, I'm in Africa. And everybody was like, welcome, 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 welcome. And it just felt so good. And so when I was in Nairobi, particularly, it's such a developed part of Kenya. It's the city. So it felt like home. It felt like I was in the United States, honestly, because it had like big buildings and the roads were paved, and it's a lot of people of different races, and cars just going, and it just was it felt like Atlanta itself. I feel
Okay.
like I'm in the US. So it changed my mindset on what I thought Africa was, because they teach us that it's just a poor entire continent.
Hmm.
There's nothing good there. Everybody's hungry. Everybody's, it looks poor everywhere. But when I went to Nairobi, I was like, this is beautiful. I can see myself maybe, living here. So
So did you have that type of mindset as a child that Africa might be this poor, desolate place? And as an adult, when you grew up, did that type of mindset change?
Entirely, yeah. Because like being an African American, I don't know if not. I don't know. I know they want to keep us from our roots.
Mm-hmm.
So the impression that they give on us is that even though they're like, go back to Africa and all this other stuff, the impression that they give to us is that it's a horrible place to be. Everybody's hungry.
Right.
The kids are hungry. You always see the feed the children type of, commercials and stuff like that. And everything is poor and dirty and all kinds of stuff. So like, it's just a lot of ignorance that goes along with how we were before as African Americans. But as an adult, things have changed a lot in as far as like us trying to figure out our roots and who we are. So people are more proud of their natural hair. People are more proud to wear the African garments and things like that. And a lot of people are interested in going back to Africa to figure out who they are. So so that's why.
Absolutely. So over the last years, as we've been, kind of interacting on Facebook and whatnot, I noticed there was a gentleman that you used to post on your Facebook page who happened to be from Nigeria. And it kind of piqued my interest because as a child, I lived in Nigeria for a year.
Oh, wow.
So I lived in a small town called Oyo Town in Nigeria with my mother. She was a nurse there. So I lived there with her for a year. So I was kind of interested. Here's this young brother from Nigeria talking to this young African-American lady, like, how did that happen? But I just wanted to mind my business. I didn't want to, I didn't want to get all up in your business, So tell us about that. Like, I think that's what the people want to know. How did you all meet?
Well, I was doing some online work. I was doing online marketing, but also drop shipping at that point.
Okay.
Money wasn't coming fast enough with the online marketing, so I was doing drop shipping. So it was just a question that I had posted on, I think, on my wall or something like that, and it was basically saying if anyone was interested, let me know. So it's just like a lot of different people typing in info. That was weird. So it was like info. So he was one of the people that typed in info. So I just got to like everybody and responded to them. And at that point in my life, I was just like closed to men, like just closed. I was just business and that's it. So it's not like I was looking for anything. I just was like, all right, drop shipping. Do you want to know what it is? And that was it. So I reached out to him and I said, I heard that you were interested in drop shipping. And he was just like, he didn't respond for like a whole month. So I just forgot about it. And then out of nowhere, he just reached out to me. And I was like, he was like, I don't even know what this was about. Like, he totally forgot what it was about. So I was like, oh, it's drop shipping. He was like, oh, okay. And we just ended up, I don't know, just having conversation. It was like probably a 5-minute conversation, but for some reason, it was just a very profound conversation. Like going through his profile and stuff like that. I was like, okay. And I wasn't open. I'm telling you, I was not open to, I was like in traumatic situation before. So I was just working on myself and healing and stuff. Right. So I just was like, Jessie. Remember Jessie?
Yes.
So I speak to her personally, so she knows a lot about my story and stuff. So she told me that she wanted me to just be open to a friend, just open to a friend in the male and not turn bitter. So, because I was going down that path. So what happened was, that happened maybe like a couple of days before. And then it was another guy that, was talking to me, and then I just was like, oh, he's annoying or whatever. But him, it was just simple. It was like a few words that he said, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then we just, it was like we clicked in that tiny bit of time. And then finally, like I hadn't spoken to him in a few days, and for some reason it bothered me. I don't know why, but it bothered me that I didn't hear from him in a few days, because in general, I didn't care a lot about anything. I didn't care care about men. I didn't care about nothing at that time. But for some reason, it was like a little nagging feeling that I got. And it just bothered me. And I was like, okay, why did it reach out to me? I told my mom. Weird. I told my mom. I told my ex. I told Jesse. I was like, this guy reached out to me, just stopped talking to me out of nowhere, and I don't know, like, guys are weird. And I just left it. 3 days later, he reached back out to me. And I was like, oh, so now you hit me up, okay. But I didn't want to show that at all.
Right.
So we were talking, and he told me that he had to take care of some things. He's really sorry. And then our first conversation was like 5 hours long. 5 hours long.
On the phone?
On the phone.
Wow.
On the phone. 5 hours long. And then from that day, all the way up until today, we never went a day without talking to each other.
Wow. That's amazing that you can feel an emotional connection or bond with somebody that you haven't never even met yet.
Yes.
And through the cyber world.
It's weird. And it's not something that I was seeking. I was very much like, if I end up single with my kids, we're going to travel. I'll be happy. I don't care. I was, it's not like I was looking. It's just something that just happened. So, and it was cool because, he's from a whole different country and I'm from here. And it's like two cultures colliding and meshing. And it's a lot of things that he had in his mind about Americans, and it's things that I had in my mind about Nigerians or Africans in general, and we just collided and found like a mutual understanding of each other. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us what it was like the first time meeting him, and where did you first meet him?
I met him in Kenya because I felt like, we should meet in a neutral place. In a neutral
location.
Yeah. He's not familiar with the area.
Sade, I see what you're doing. You ain't slick. I see what you're doing.
So we both met in Kenya.
And
it was two things. It was like, it was after honestly 2 years of talking online. So it's not like it was an immediate thing. So 2 years after us talking online, I went to Kenya. I was nervous and happy at the same time because Africa, that's number one. And two, I'm meeting the love of my life, or, just somebody that I'm like, I connect really, really strong.
Wait, hold up, stop the presses. So before you went to Africa, you felt that was the love of your life already?
I felt very, very connected. And it was like a lot of things that we had gone through together that, basically, like, he passed whatever test that I was throwing at him. He proved himself to be trustworthy, proved himself to be like that solid guy.
Wow.
And it took a while because, like I said, we were friends first. We were friends first. But that connection was intense and strong. And I was fighting it for a long time, just to be cautious, but yeah.
Wow, this is amazing. I mean, yeah, I'm amazed at this. Yeah, I'm happy for you. I'm definitely happy for you, though.
But yeah, we met in Kenya, and like the first meeting was like he had a picture of me that he got made. Someone drew a picture of me. He acted like he was at the hotel and he couldn't get to the airport and stuff. So I came downstairs, and there's a whole video on it. I came downstairs and I was looking for whoever my cab driver was, and it was this lady that was holding my picture. And I was like, oh my God, like she was holding my picture. And then I was walking up to her, and then he just came from behind me and just tapped me and gave me the biggest hug, and it was just great. And it was like as if we'd known each other our whole lives.
Yeah. Wow. So you come home, come home to America, live your life after a while, and then you go back to Africa, right?
You mean like after 8 months?
Yeah, I mean that's
I wasn't expecting to go back like in such a short amount of. I mean, I was because of my heart or whatever, but I'm like, that's twice in the span of 1 year. But yeah,
yeah,
back on to
yeah.
the whole time.
Wow,
Mhm.
wow. So you come home, come home to America, live your life after a while, and then you go back to Africa, right?
You mean like after 8 months?
Yeah, I mean that's
I wasn't expecting to go back like in such a short amount of. I mean, I was because of my heart or whatever, but I'm like, that's twice in the span of 1 year. But yeah,
yeah,
back on to Nigeria. God.
that's huge because most well, I'm not even gonna say most, but probably a lot of Black people that visit Africa, that's it's just a one-time thing. Might not be able to afford to go back,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but you're lucky and blessed enough that you got to visit the continent again.
Thank you. Let
So,
me let me just say this: like, going to Kenya, going to Tanzania, like the East African countries,
mhm.
is way cheaper than going to Ghana and Nigeria.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I don't understand. It's further away, but it
Exactly.
yeah, I don't know.
The powers that be.
Because like the ticket for Kenya, I think was like 700, 700 to
Uh-huh.
get a deal. From where I am, I don't know where everyone else is, but from
Yeah.
where I am, there's only 700. And then to get to Nigeria is like 1,500 minimum, maybe, and it could go all the way up to 2,500, 27. So I
That's
don't know.
about
Closer to the U.S. I don't
yeah. So yeah, tell us about that second trip.
know. The
I
second
knew I was gonna see that
trip.
smile.
This is Nigeria, so I'm. This is 2.5 years into everything. Um, I went to go meet his family. I stayed for 6 weeks. I stayed for 6 weeks. I went to go meet his family. When I got to Nigeria, okay, let me just say this. Kenya, I feel like, oh, this is like the US. They were very big on COVID. I had to wear a mask all the time and all kinds of stuff. But when I went to Nigeria, it was a different experience. Um, the people were very warm, very inviting. Um, the fashions were like, oh, on point. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, the thing about okay, so you got Lagos because that's where I landed. I was in Lagos. Lagos is very much city. The
Right.
traffic is freaking insane, insane. And that's where everybody is. That's where everybody comes to from all over the world.
Right.
Basically, you'll have like your mixture of, if you want to eat different foods from different countries, Chinese food, they
Hmm.
got Indian food, they got a lot of stuff and a lot of things to do, a lot of nightlife and attractions and stuff. So it was beautiful. It was just a big hustle. The hustle,
Yeah.
not from New York, and the hustle is real in New York, but Nigeria,
Yeah.
no.
That's how come they do so well in terms of money when they come over here to the States, because they know how to hustle.
Yes, yes. That
Yeah.
hustle is, yeah. And then it's like, I feel like they're put under such hard, super hard conditions that it's like the United States is a piece of cake. And they look
Mm.
at us like, African Americans, they look at us like, what are y'all doing? Are you serious? How can you not be successful here? How can
Exactly.
take advantage
Exactly.
of you here?
And I'm glad you said that because that's where some of the disconnect comes from Africans that immigrate to the United States.
Yeah.
They look at African Americans like, you have all this here, and why is it that African Americans are in the conditions that they're in? But Africans don't understand historically what's happened to Black Americans in this country.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. And so being in a relationship where you're with someone that's from Africa and then you knowing yourself as an African American in America,
Hmm.
it's good when you can have that exchange. Like, look, slavery was like this. And then in the 50s and 60s, this is what happened. And this is what was put in place for us to be held back,
Right.
not just because we want to be just lazy. It's just a lot of things that was like we had thriving businesses, we had like wonderful thriving Black communities, but every time we would be uplifted, they would bomb our communities. They would do
Exactly.
scare the crap out of us. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So you met his family and all that. What was that like getting to know them?
Oh gosh. Well, they were already happy to meet me. I had spoken to them through FaceTime and over the phone and stuff like that. So they were very welcoming. His tribe he's Yoruba.
Hmm.
So they would be like, "You sure you're not Yoruba? Why is your name Sade? Why?" And I'm like, "Well, my parents love Sade,
Day,
so
right? Yeah.
I did the 23andMe DNA testing, and so of course Nigeria is in there, and Ghana's there too. So Ghana and Nigeria are the top two. So on my father's side, he revealed to me that that's Nigeria. You
Yeah.
know, so
Wow.
hmm but it was mainly because of the singer. So it just so happened. It's just so funny how things happen, and now I'm getting
Yeah.
that is Yoruba specifically.
Yeah.
So
I kind of think this was destined and was meant to be because I mean, a young Black American lady from Brooklyn, New York, named Sade,
mhm,
meets a Nigerian man.
yeah.
I mean,
And then it's like my family, they have every reason to be afraid, every reason to be like, no, like, are you serious? But
really.
it's like, because Nigerian and scamming and all of that stuff. So they were just like, they could have been like, oh, absolutely not. But it's like when they met him, they were like, oh, yes, that's your match. That's your match. And then same thing with his family.
Wow.
Same thing. So when I got there, they were just so open to embrace me. And I mean, they treated me like, oh, beautifully. And I just want to say this as an African American, um, we have this thing in their mind where they don't like us, they hate us. You know, I don't know what happens from the transition of between them coming here, from there to here. I don't know what
Hmm.
happens with immigration or what, but we have it in our minds like, oh, they think that they're better than us and that whole thing. But when we go to Africa, when I even went to Kenya, specifically Nigeria, though, they treated me like royalty. They treated me like as if I was like up here, and even in the US, you don't get that. You
Yeah.
have, white to get that type of treatment. But
Yeah.
when I was there, I just felt like, oh my gosh. Like even at the hotel, when they heard me speak, they'd
Hmm.
be like, they would straighten up real quick. How can I help you, ma'am? Hi, how you doing? Do you need anything? Are you sure? Are you
Wow.
sure? They went out of their way to make sure that I was good. Even like whether it was a business or just a personal, like, they embrace us
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
much.
What you just said right there resonates with me because, being from Ghana and going back home to visit,
Mhm.
a lot of the Ghanaian brothers there and, sisters, they kind of look up to African Americans in some kind of way because
Yeah.
of the things that African Americans have been able to achieve here. You know, the earning power, the ability to do things that Africans wish that they could do back home, but maybe their government is not really supporting them. They don't have the resources to do it. So they look at America, and America is like, man, like I need to get there because I want to be able to do those kind of things. Because I have dreams also, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, so they kind of hold Americans, African Americans, and such in some kind of high regard.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
very. I was shocked when I got there. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I
Mhm.
just was like relishing in the glory. I was like, "Okay, yes, I'm American. Yes." I felt proud to be an American. It was so funny, and I would even hear the whisper, "She's American. She's American." They
Wow.
say it either in their language or they say it in English, and I'm like,
Uh,
"Oh my goodness, this is crazy."
wow. I know you felt like royalty, like
Yes, I
what
did.
talk?
Like I said, I don't know what happens during the immigration process or when they get here, but over there we are loved, 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 loved.
That's awesome.